You take one breath. The air feels normal. The place looks still, but oxygen has already been replaced. The danger is not what you see, it is what you inhale. Nature looks calm, beautiful, silent, alive. But beneath that surface, there is force, pressure building, gas rising, ice cracking, wind sharpening. A lake can suffocate a valley. A tree can burn your skin. A storm can erase direction. This is nature is scary, the planet that does not care. A valley can look safe. A cave can look quiet. A volcanic field can look empty. Nothing has to move. Nothing has to burn. Nothing has to make a sound. The danger can already be there, resting close to the ground, filling the lowest space, waiting where air does not mix. We trust air because we cannot see it. We assume breathing means safety. But air is not always the same air. Oxygen can drop. Carbon dioxide can rise. Hydrogen sulfide can appear from volcanic vents, wetlands, mines, or decaying matter. Sulfur gases can irritate the eyes and lungs before the landscape looks dangerous. This is the strange part. The most beautiful places can hide the simplest threat. A breath that does not sustain life. No teeth, no claws, no visible attack. Only an atmosphere that is changed, and a body that finds out too late. To understand that, we begin with a gas that sinks. Carbon dioxide is not poison in the way people imagine poison. It can kill by replacing what the body needs: oxygen. Cold carbon dioxide can be heavier than the surrounding air, so in the right conditions, it does not simply disappear upward. It settles into hollows, into pits, into basements, into caves. From above, the place may look unchanged. Birds may pass overhead. The sky may be clear. The ground may be beautiful. But near the surface, the breathing zone can become wrong. This is why volcanic carbon dioxide is so unsettling. It does not need fire. It does not need ash. It does not need an eruption you can see. It can seep from soil, escape from vents, rise from lakes, collect where air is still. The landscape does not have to look violent. It only has to stop ventilating. And that is where caves become dangerous. A cave is not just an empty hole in rock. It has its own air, its own circulation, its own failures. Some caves breathe with the outside world. Cold air moves in, warm air moves out. Pressure changes keep the system alive. But in dead ends, low chambers, or poorly ventilated passages, the air can separate. Carbon dioxide can build. Oxygen can fall. A person may not see anything different. The walls look the same. The floor looks the same. The darkness looks normal. But the body notices before the mind understands. Breathing becomes heavier. Movement feels harder. Judgment slows. In volcanic caves, the danger can sharpen. Gas from below can enter the space and settle in the deepest parts, not as a creature, not as smoke, as invisible weight. A cave like that does not trap you with stone, it traps you with air. And outside the cave, the same rule can operate across an entire valley. A valley is a natural container. Wind may pass above it, clouds may move over it, but near the floor, a different atmosphere can form. That is why volcanic regions can be dangerous even when lava is absent. Gases can escape from vents, craters, fumaroles, and fractured ground. Sulfur dioxide can burn the lungs and eyes. Hydrogen sulfide can be toxic even when the landscape looks quiet. Carbon dioxide can displace oxygen and settle low. Together, they turn air into a hidden boundary. Above the boundary, the world seems normal. Below it, the body is no longer breathing what it needs. In places like volcanic calderas and geothermal fields, scientists monitor gases because the ground can speak before the volcano does. But the ground does not always speak loudly. Sometimes it only leaks. Sometimes it exhales at night. Sometimes the first visible sign is not the gas itself, but what the gas has already done. And in some communities, that danger rises directly beneath homes. Some gas disasters do not begin with a glowing crater. They begin under ordinary ground, a village, a field, a road, a slope below a volcanic system. At Indonesia's Dieng Plateau, volcanic gases have turned invisible release into tragedy. Carbon dioxide and other gases can move through fractures, then collect in low places where people live and travel. The horror is not that the ground explodes. The horror is that the ground exhales. No obvious wall stops it. No color marks the boundary. No flame is required. A person can walk from breathable air into air that has changed without seeing the line. This is why volcanic gas is one of nature's quietest hazards. It can turn familiar geography into a trap. The same path, the same house, the same field. Only the atmosphere is different. And when the atmosphere changes, beauty becomes irrelevant. The next example looks like the opposite of invisible danger. It burns in the open desert, but it begins with the same thing: gas escaping from below. In Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert, there is a crater known as the Gate to Hell. It is not supernatural. It is geology and gas. A collapsed natural gas field, a wound in the desert, a place where methane escapes from below and burns. It looks like the danger is fire, and fire is danger. But beneath the image, the deeper story is gas movement, pressure, fractures, underground reservoirs, a surface that failed. The crater makes visible what many places hide. The earth is not sealed, it leaks. Sometimes the leak burns. Sometimes it smells. Sometimes it poisons. Sometimes it displaces oxygen without announcing. That is why the Gate to Hell belongs in this episode. Not because it is magic, because it shows the same rule in a way no one can ignore. Gas moves upward, and if the surface gives it a path, it enters our world. But not every dangerous pocket is as obvious as a burning crater. The same danger appears in smaller places: old mines, storage pits, basements, tunnels, where gas rises from below or forms from decay. These spaces can look ordinary from the outside: a dark entrance, a quiet shaft, a low room under a building. But enclosed spaces do not always exchange air with the world above. Oxygen can be consumed. Toxic gas can collect. Carbon dioxide can settle. Methane can gather. Hydrogen sulfide can appear where organic matter breaks down. The threat is not always smell. Some gases warn. Some overwhelm the warning. Some give no useful warning at all. This is what makes dead air so dangerous. It looks empty, it feels invisible, but it has structure, a lair, a pocket, a boundary. The atmosphere becomes a landscape inside the landscape, and you cannot judge it with your eyes. That is the theme connecting the cave, the valley, the village, the crater, and the mine. The air itself can become terrain. We think of air as background, empty space, invisible support, something so constant we forget it is there. But the boundary has shifted. The surface world is no longer safe in the way it appears. The danger is a condition, a chemistry of breath. And once that chemistry changes, nothing else matters. Not the view, not the silence, not the calm. Because nature does not need to look hostile to become hostile. Sometimes the place stays beautiful, but air is a mixture, and mixtures can change. Add volcanic gas, remove oxygen, trap it in a hollow, seal it inside stone, let it collect beneath still ground, and the air stops being air. The ground is not always solid. Sometimes the surface is hiding failure underneath. Water removes support, rock dissolves, pressure changes underground, and entire landscapes can collapse without warning. What we have seen is not nature turning evil, it is nature operating normally. Gas rises, water moves, storms form, and when the conditions align, life gets caught in the system. Because the planet does not choose victims, it only follows physics.